Hello everyone, and welcome to this, my first foray into a new gaming system. So, as you can see, I'm going to give Star Wars Legion a go. So this is produced by Fantasy Flight Games. It's a miniatures game, which is about I think the 32mm scale, so ever so slightly larger than the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game that I play currently. And this is the core box set, the Empire versus Rebels core box set. So a friend of mine bought this when it was released, and I think he's had it sat on the shelf, and he wants to play it, but the idea of painting up all those models, I think it's a bit intimidating. There's quite a few of them. So he said to me, if I paint the Rebel half for him, I could keep the Imperial half for myself. That way there's two painted armies and there's two people to play. So I thought, you know what? I had my eye on this game before it came out. I put it off because I was sort of like fully invested in Lord of the Rings at the time. I still am. But I didn't want to buy into another game that I potentially didn't like. So this is a good way for me to try the game, learn how it works, because it's a very different set of rules to what I'm used to. So, as I mentioned, this is produced by Fantasy Flight Games. It retails at the moment. I was just having a look online a moment ago. The core box set goes for about in the region of about £60 through independent retailers. This is the first core box set they did. They've got another box set out, which is a Clone Wars version. So that's droids versus clones, which does look amazing too. I love the look of the droids. I just end up having to spend a fortune to get a full droid army, like what you see in Phantom Menace when they attack Naboo. So this is going to be a slight unboxing. I'll explain why it's not a proper unboxing as we go. But I just want to show you what I got and go through my first initial thoughts on the game. So turning this over, you get to see exactly what's in the back. So as you can see already, you've got a Darth Vader, you've got Luke Skywalker, so get some more light over here. You've got a couple of speeder bikes, you've got a walker of some sort, which is on the Rebel side. You've got Rebel troops. Here's a better picture of the walker. You've got Imperial stormtroopers, and then you've got also barricades in there as well. So, and as you can see from looking on here, there's cards involved. There's different sided dice, tokens, and all sorts, and sort of like bendy range rulers and stuff. So very different to what I'm used to be playing with. So Lord of the Rings, you play it with D6 dice, and a ruler, tape measure. That's really all you need. Tokens are completely optional. So the box in itself, you get 33 miniatures, 8 barricades, 15 dice, movement tools, range ruler, unit cards, upgrade cards, command cards, battle cards, a round counter, 107 assorted tokens, that's a lot, and a learn to play booklet. So because of course this box has been opened and my friends shipped me the models themselves, I don't actually have the movement tools, dice, range ruler, and all the unit cards. So he's going to send me the ones for the Empire separately, but what I've got at the moment is simply the models. And so it's the basic stuff's there. As you can see, sort of like you get some really cool effects. So these are based up for Tatooine. You could base them up for Endor if you wanted to. It just looks really great. So the recommended age is 14 plus. It's a 2-player game, and you play for, it says on the box, for 2 to 3 hours. And some of the people at the local club in Basingstoke across the road from me, they've been playing this, and a guy was putting on a demonstration game the other day, and I looked at it, and his models look fantastic. They're painted really nicely, and I just looked at it and I thought, this is amazing. I need to play it. So without any further ado, I'm going to go in and have a look at some of the models that come in the box. So actually, before I go any further into the models, you do get this Learn to Play guide in the box, and I think this is the rulebook. I've got to try and find out. Obviously, I'm used to a hardback rulebook, army books, and supplements like that from Games Workshop on their Lord of the Rings stuff, but this is, as you can see, paperback, very thin. So if this is the rulebook, it should be a simple game to play, but when you open it up, you can see just quite how much stuff you get inside. Then there's instructions on how to assemble the models, how to assemble your ruler. There's like a learning to play guide, quick play guide sort of thing. Then you got rules and bits and pieces, and it looks like, hopefully, I mean obviously with the Lord of the Rings games you get a lot of cool stuff at the back. Yeah, sort of like hobby stuff, like it's not really showing off other people's painted stuff, but yeah, interesting. Oh, there's a little paint guide at the bottom, tiny little paint guide. Anything for the painting or terrain? A little terrain guide. It's not bad. I mean, I am planning on using my 3D printer for this, so watch this space for what sort of terrain is going to be possible. So, anyway. Right. So, this is the... No, it's not. This is the Rebel section of the starter set. So, as you can see, there's 14 troops. I believe these are commanders, so 12 troops, 2 commanders. You've got Luke Skywalker, and you've got this AT-RT, which is like a walker. So, nice variation in weapons. There's obviously some heavy weapons in here. This guy here looks like he's got some sort of repeating blaster or something like that, some sort of like Gatling gun kind of thing. Then you've got this guy with some sort of like some sort of hand cannon of some description, I suppose. It looks a bit more like that. Then you got sort of like standard. I mean, I've played Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know what that one's called, but it's a standard blaster kind of thing. What's quite nice though is if you have got an alien thrown in here. They're not all human, so it's a nice little change. Then Luke Skywalker. So it's a really nicely detailed model. Mold line going down the side there, I'm going to need to clean up. Yeah, mold line's going right the way through it actually. Looks very nice. Doesn't look too much like Mark Hamill. Really. In fact, doesn't look anything like him. But still, very nice, and you can paint that in several different ways if you wanted to. The AT-RT comes with different types of weapons. As you can see here, there's obviously, I'm going to assume each confers different in-game bonuses. That looks like a flamethrower. One must be a repeating thing, one must be a high-powered cannon or something, I'm not too sure. And then you've got this, which is actually, it's lovely. It was a bit of a pig to put together, if I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have some fun weathering this. I mean, I might even give it a go with my airbrush. So, very, very nice. Biggest issue I had actually assembling this was these sort of like pistons in behind the legs. They didn't fit in place in one of them, so I just had to kind of glue it to the leg itself. But the weapons just pop up there, kind of thing. But yeah, so that's the Rebel segment of the box. It's very nice, lots of detail. I'm gonna sort of like try paint these quite smart because I normally spend a long time on models, so I'm not obviously going to rush them. They're not mine. I'm not going to rush them, but I want to try and put down a base layer with an airbrush, and then use a wash, and then just a basic highlight, because these are going to be painted up in sort of an end-all theme. So it's going to be a lot of greens, browns, beiges, that sort of colour. So if I can keep a similar sort of palette, it should make painting them relatively quick. So that's it for the Rebel Alliance. Let's bring over the baddies now. And here's the Empire set. So quite easily the most iconic baddies ever to be in a film. It's a very similar setup to the Rebel half. You've got, what was that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 troops and then 2 commanders at the end here. Each has different weapons. So, commander, you can see, just got a basic blaster. It's quite a nice detail with the shoulder pauldron as well. It's quite nice. Nice detail on the armour, nice and crisp. Not as much in terms of mould lines. You've got some guys with some heavy blasters here, and again I recognise these from Star Wars Battlefront. He's got some sort of like energy pack on his back, battery pack so it doesn't run out or whatever. And then we've got some some like rocket launcher kind of things, although I'm assuming obviously it's not rockets, but still that's very cool. 2 of those in there as well. Before I move on to the big baddie, rather than getting one, I suppose, mechanized troop for the Empire, you get 2 speeder bikes. I think you can get things like AT-ATs for Legion, Star Wars Legion, in which case they'd be pretty massive, but I'm going to have to buy one, aren't I? So you get 2 speeder bikes. These were a bit of a pig to put together. There's lots of separate parts. So obviously the fins up here were separate. The what do you call these bits on a bike? Handlebars were fitted to the arms, but still separate. This bit, the foot plate here, was separate, which was a bit of a pig to line up because it is just a flat piece that glues on the bottom here. But overall, I mean, they look fantastic. So it comes with 2 poses. So you've got one guy riding just normally like that, and then you've got another who's sort of like firing back over his shoulder. Just Stormtrooper scouts that you see in Return of the Jedi. So they're amazing. I mean, I can't wait to paint those. I probably should have glued the guys on, thinking about it now. I probably should have painted the speeder bikes first and then glued them on. But, oh well, you live and learn. And then finally, the man himself. Well, part man, isn't he? Part man, part machine. Vader. Nice level of detail on him. Unfortunately, his lightsaber is bent. Although I did just see a section in the book about how to straighten those out. Hopefully a bit of hot water should do it. I've tried running it under hot water. Maybe it just needs to be a bit hotter. A lovely amount of detail on Vader. Force choking someone. Nice cloak. That's going to be a pig to paint. Yeah, very, very nice. So that's the Empire segment. Obviously, you can bulk these armies out, and where the game's been out for quite a while now, there are quite a few different units you can buy. So I know there's snowtroopers, there's Imperial, Palpatine's Guard, like the Emperor's Guard. There's, like I mentioned earlier, there's droids, there's clones. I know the Walker that we just looked at for the Rebels, there's a Republic version. So you can use that as well. The only other thing in the box was these barricades. Not bad, fairly generic. Just was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 in there. 8 barricades. That makes a nice terrain, but of course you want something a bit more interesting than that. One thing to comment on as well, all the models came bagged up in pairs So nothing on a sprue, no cutting off a sprue. You could see where they'd been removed from the sprue. Sometimes you had the little sort of like the little the flash bits from where it had connected to the sprue and it's not been cleaned properly. But then also, I'm now left with a bag of bags. I look like a drug dealer. Gonna fill it with some tea sweeteners and go sell it to people. Why? Why put that so many bags? It's ridiculous. Keep on the sprue. Don't waste the plastic. But yeah, so that concludes that part. And I hope you'll look forward to watching me paint some of these. I'm going to try to do some paint guides, some videos on hopefully how to play once I work out how you play it. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.